منطقي جوهري مبين مثل عين الشمس، ارفع يديه يقول اني اخطات واطلب من الله ومنكم مستمع. هي لعبه عقول البشر كلها.
مظبوط.
لعبه
سيد
سويدي هذه الباب قوي.
صوفيا
وين اي بريد؟ وين؟
ما هم بقيوا تو برانشز اللي انا حميتهم. لا بخلص هون يبقى هلا وين صوبت صوفيا؟ Yeah, he needs to sign this one.
انت دلالك انا ما عندي هون بعيد عنك وصفت ولدتي.
انا المنطقه كلها فيها 7 برانشز.
ليه؟
كنت اخذ هيدا البرانش
اي تفاهم في العالم.
قلنا علي انك فيزيتور انت الي.
فكرني السؤال يقحم.
لا محمد معماري خيي. كيفك الي؟ كان حديثك امبارح مع شباب شري.
انا رحت على العزاء
مع عزاء
رحمة الله الله يرحمنا جميعا معك. البقاء لله عز
شوف مين حمل المنطقة هون؟ بالنمبرز العنديين طلعتهم تضربني هون بالبارك لأنا بتهيلي فوق شو هالمركز يعني؟
كنا نروح على الكلاب مظبوط. على الجرايهم كلاب
مظبوط. صارت تقومكم ضدي، صارت تطلع لي عفريت مصبوح. حكت معك وحكت مع خيك ودقيتهم على التليفونات وبحكي قلبي يا عمي ضحكت عليكم لا تشتغل منه بس اخذ عرض شايفها لسه مقطع فيسبوك ما نكون شايفينها هيك اخر شي خيك بدق لي
شفناها بين في من باب المواجهه او من باب الانحطاط اخلاقي او انه انا بسميتي انه انا لا نحن اكتشفنا انا بقدر وصدى يعني بس فكرني جيت من امام مسجد او قديس انا بقدر وصدى الوقت بيني لما اسطر بشغله شيء بعض. ليش بتدعي انت كل ضوء مع ضوء
اخر هم تضرب ريني تضرب على انا سقط ريني
ما تضرب ريني
تضرب كل واحد بده يقف بالمنطقه
شاور بالجاني تشاور
لك هلا ما خليت لك من 7 برانشز الخمسه اللي كان لها عالم فيهم لغيوم قلت لغيوم مين بقي؟ بقي هي البرانش انا فيه قلت لها رشال تاكدها رشال تعرف هول البرانش اجت رشال فتت على البرانش قلت لها لهي المايستري اللي كانت فيها سلمتها السكرتري صرت انا ورشال مستمرين وكل الاخوات منهم علي
فوق مصر ما يجوز وثمن الانعاش. الشغل هذا أهم شيء. هذا أهم شيء. ودور بيصل على فول أشياء أو بين بكر. على فول أشياء أو دعوة.
لكن ما يفهم منها. لا أنا ما فيني أنزل على بلدية. أنا عم بقول عملتها في خلال قبل إذا أنا موجود أو رشال أو كريس ما تيجوا إلي
ما بعمل عمل أضمن
ما إخلال ما
إحنا إثبات وجوده حلو إحنا بقولنا ليه وجود ليجاسي يعني
يجيبوا نقعدوا على الفرن
شو بدك فيه؟
بس بعده هو بالطعم
لا بطلت خلص صار سيد الآن
ولا يعني بس منه منبر مش أول منبر بس هو المنبر بالبعض
لا بطل كيف سابق هلا بطل اجت هون يا هون نطر الولاد الرموز بدك تقريبا
أول خمسة خطوة عليه يمكن خطوة عزيزة بين all of that. The same shit. يعني need help. أنا عايز البعضي وبدون قول والله ما يكفينا حتى سيدة. عفوا ما طلب شيء ريتيرن ما بدي شيء هذا من قلب صافي لقلب صافي. وصلت الأشياء اللي وصلت أنت كأنه حدا بيقول لنا وصلت. كلمتنا
I've got Anthony Diatta, Dr. David Saliba, former MLCs, Dr. Kate Mosseri.
All right, mate. You take care. All the best. Bye.
It's not even come join us.
For what?
And now I will put you through to Minister Tony Burke.
We're all passing up and down for who'd go first. First of all, this crowd is just a tribute to our three candidates. Absolute tribute. I go to a lot of local government campaign events. Can I tell you, it's rare that you go to one where there are more than twice as many MPs as there are local council candidates. And there's a really simple reason. We just want to be associated with you. Like the sense of community that myself and Chris and from Amy is littered throughout this room, because sometimes you get candidates who, even if they hadn't hit public office, were already community leaders. And that's what we have in Rachelle, it's what we have in Chris, and it's what we have in our Mayor, Bilal Hayek. All of them significant roles, delivering for the community, involved in the public office. And every now and then you see people who haven't done the community work, who just want the public office, who just want the title. And I reckon there'll be one or two of them on different tickets running against, thinking, oh, here's the chance to make themselves important in the community. Well, I want people to represent us who have already chosen through everything they've done in their life that they love this community, they are part of this community, and this community comes first. And that's what the Labor team is delivering. That's exactly what this Labor team has with Rachelle for some time. You know, there's a concept my dad taught me when Dad was often very late home from work, which was just this principle: you don't go home if there's someone still needing help. You just keep going. You finish the job, you deliver for people. The test of your work isn't what's your start time, your finish time, what are the hours you're paid for. The test of your work is how are you delivering for the people who need you. I can't imagine anyone who represents that more than Rachelle Harika. Cannot imagine anyone who represents that more. So when you get to how to vote, think of the word add, A-D, okay? Number 1 in the box A, number 2 in box D. Both above the line, but that's the how to vote, add, A-D. Number 1A, number 2D, both above the line. One of the challenges we'll have, as we always have, is council voting is different to any other form of voting, and people always get it wrong. So I'm going to have 2 requests of you, but they're both the same sort of thing. They're both about making sure that you don't waste a conversation. The Labor vote that happens, this will be the last big vote in New South Wales that happens before we hit the federal election. Whatever happens in this one is going to be part of the momentum that Peter Dutton either has or doesn't have. And all of these things are cumulative. So I want to ask you simply, between now and the council election, do not waste a conversation and talk about 2 things. Have the conversation that I just said, number 1 in box A, number 2 in box D. As long as you get the number 1, it's okay, but we've got to keep to the preference agreement. So number 1 in box A, number 2 in box D. And say that to people. The second thing is have the conversation that you can have that a whole lot of people can't. And that's to say, you know these candidates. You know them, you trust them. If you've had a photo with them today, put it up on your social media and put a post about how well you know and trust these individuals. Remind people how to vote and remind people what's at stake. I've never seen a time when some people have tried so hard to divide our community, and some people are trying so incredibly hard to divide our community. That's the exact moment where we need to get behind the people who are of the community and who unify the community. That's why so many members of Parliament want to be here. That's why so many of you. And I look around the room, this room is full of the exact sort of people I started talking about, people who are already in their own way leaders in their community, leaders among their families, leaders in community organisations. I look around the room and you're everywhere. We want to make sure that someone like that continues to be a leader for this part of Sydney, for this part of the area, and that's Rachelle Harika. The team that Bilal Hayek is bringing across Canterbury Bankstown Council, I have never seen a better team be pulled together. Let's get behind it, let's not waste the conversation, and let's win. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Very kind words. And I'll now like to invite Minister Jason Clare. Thank you.
Tony just said to me, can you say something different? Or maybe Rachelle Harika is that good the Liberal Party even refused to stand candidates against her in this ward. Or maybe they just forgot to lodge the form. But the bottom line is we all know just how wonderful Rachelle and the team she leads in this ticket is. Often when we go to election launches, the room is full of people from the Labor Party. This is a room full of people from the Labor Party, but not just that. You know, as I look around here, I see school leaders, I see community doctors, I see leaders of the Chamber of Commerce, I see our community. And then when I see everybody that I see in my job here coming to support Rachelle and Chris and Ayman, I know that this is a community team. Yes, we're a Labor Party team. In our heart, we always want to help to make sure that we use the positions we have to help the disadvantaged, to build a better and a fairer local community. But the key word here is community. You know, when I'm at, say, Bass Hill Shopping Centre or at Bankstown, Tony, it'd be the same in Canterbury. Bilal, you know this too. Jihad, you'd know this. Linda knows this, and so does Anthony. If you're standing at the shops and you've got your poster out and you invite people to come and talk to you, 9 out of 10 issues that people want to talk to you about are not things that are happening in federal parliament or happening in state parliament. They're what's happening at the end of someone's street. They're what's happening in our local community. And that's what makes local government so important. Sometimes so underappreciated, so underrated, but so critical, so important, because it matters to everybody's life. Whether it's the roundabout, whether it's the pothole, whether it's the garbage truck below that keeps turning up at 4 o'clock in the morning and waking my 2-year-old up. All of these things on their own might seem little, but I'll tell you what, they make our local community what it is. This is our home, and local government and the people that are represented on our council, that work in our local council, help to make our home a better place. And in that sense, they're family. They're part of our extended family. And so are you. Thank you for being part of Rachelle's team, Rachelle's family, for helping to support Rachelle and Chris and hopefully Ayman to get elected to council. The Liberal Party are doing their thing by not standing anyone against you. Neither are the Greens, I understand as well. But as Tony points out, we still need people to turn up to vote, to fill in the ballot paper, and to support this incredible team. 3 weeks to go. So get the word out, get the posters out, and let's make sure that Rachelle and her team get re-elected at the local government elections in just under 3 weeks' time. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Jason. And before I give the microphone to Minister Jihad, can I also acknowledge the former NLC Helen Westwood, as well as councillors Linda Downey and David Walsh. And an upcoming, hopefully, will be one of my colleagues soon, Gemma Ashton. Welcome. And before I do, I'd like to thank actually Linda Downey. This is her last term, and I'll thank you for your mentorship. I'll never ever forget when I first got elected and I was sitting inside the chambers. I was meant to be sitting right at the end, but you actually moved the names to ensure that I sit right next to you so you can guide me and mentor me, because, you know, this was my first term. So thank you very much, and I'll never forget that mentorship. Thank you. And now I'll give it to Jihad.
Well, thanks, Rachelle, and it's always good to be a speaker after Tony and Jason, because there's not much more to say, and there's not much that I do need to say, but I also want to acknowledge Tony Stewart, former member for Bankstown and also a minister here, and very, very close to the local community. I want something that I picked up on yesterday as well. It's a bit of a discussion that we've been doing. You know, there's a lot of discussion here. There's federal members of parliament, ministers, there's state members of parliament, there's local councillors, and there's the community. And it's not like that in every other part of the world. It's certainly not like that in other parts of Sydney, where the state government, the local government, and the federal government representatives work so closely together. And why is that important? It's important because that we can actually deliver the things that need to be delivered. In politics, no one really understands the difference between the federal, because everyone who wants a visa comes to my office and I send it to Tony's. But they don't understand the local, because everyone who wants to complain about a pothole comes to my office and I've got to give him Bilal's number. If he doesn't answer, let me know. And they don't really understand what state is. But what they know is that people will help. And if we can't help, then somebody else will. If the council can't help, then they'll refer you to the right person. But it's not just saying you need to contact this person. They will make it happen. And that only occurs when there's a really good synergy and great teamwork between everybody. And that's what we see here. I 100% agree with Tony. We have got an exceptionally strong set of candidates across the entire local government election. But what I'm looking for is this, the thing that you're looking for. I'm looking for a person's history. What have they done and how well have they served the community over the years? What's their report card tell me? Are they somebody who has spoken up for our community when we needed them to be there? Are they somebody who has said, this is my community, I want to make it better? Are they somebody who has made a decision and been a voice of the community? We know that there are international events right now that are affecting our community in a way like nothing else. There's no one in this room who doesn't understand or feel the pain of what's happening at the moment, particularly in Gaza. And you might want to look to blame somebody. Well, rather than look to blame somebody, let's have a look at what these councillors here have done. These councillors were the first council in Australia to basically make a stance and say, we're going to raise the Palestinian flag in our two capitals, Bankstown and in Camp City. And they took a lot of criticism for it, but that was a reflection of what the community wanted, and that's what our council delivered. That's when you speak up for your community. And they continued with that, but they didn't take their eye off the main event. And the main event for them is the services. The services that we're seeing. Have a look at our community, the improvement that's happening over time. The improvement in our local main streets. The improvement in our shopping centres. The improvement in terms of the amenities that we have. The new development that's actually going to make a difference and make this more livable. The improvements in our parks. That's what local government do. But they never ever forget the most important thing. And the most important thing is here. It's their heart. And they are a heart of a community. Because they're connected to the community. They speak for the community. And when I look around, I see people who, yeah, Labor people or not Labor people. But I see people from all of our different faiths. I see people from all of our different cultures. I see people of different ages. And you're all here for one reason. And it's not because of the sausages, it's because, that was a joke. It's actually terrible when I have to say it's a joke and no one laughs. But you're all here for that one reason, and that one reason alone, because you believe in this team. You believe in Rachelle, you believe in Chris, you believe in Ayman, and you believe in all of our local councillors across all of the wards. And what we need from you is a way of thanking them, And a way of acknowledging what they've done is to make sure that every single vote counts. Every single vote is right. People will come up and say to you, oh, what have they done for me lately? I've just given you a whole heap of things. But I know, as well as you do, as well as your neighbours, as well as your colleagues, as well as your friends, whenever we've needed them to stand up, not only did they stand up, they stood up, they stood tall, and they stood proud. Just as I and all of my colleagues here are proud to stand with our local councillors and our local candidates, I ask you to do the same. I want to thank you so much for being here. I want to acknowledge as well John Ajaka for being here. You know, it's a big thing, John, for you to be here. And I acknowledge that. There's a lot of respect for you in the community. Of course, Shulkit and Mrs. Marnie as well. But I need, and we need, and our community needs for these people to be in our council representing us. Make sure it's box A and box D, and make sure we get it right. Let's return them to council and make sure that we've got a majority. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Jihad. And for those of you that don't know, Jihad's the amount of vehicles that come through the door is just like a lot. But you really do care for the community, so I commend you for that. Next, I'd like to invite Ms. Linda Volsis to say a few words, and then I'll just get Dr. David Saliba as well, because they share Chester Hill was split into 2 electorates, so I'll get them to say a few words.
Thank you, Rachelle. If I sound a 6-hour flight from Nigeria, so I haven't had any sleep, but it's such an important council election for us. I thought it was very important to be here. And the reason for that is I have 2 councils that I deal with. I deal with Cumberland Council, which is about half my electorate, and Canterbury Bankstown Council. And before the Labor team took back Cumberland Council, I had a mayor that was more interested in being destructive than working together. And that delivers no results for the community. The biggest plus that we have here now is the Labor team we have in this ward and the Labor team I have on the other side that allows me as a state member of Parliament, along with my federal colleagues, to work together to deliver the infrastructure we need. And when you're talking about the hospital, the corner of Rookwood Road and the Hume Highway, where federal and state have both put money in together to get solutions, when you're even talking about the new lifts down at Chester Hill Station, where Nugent Park and the lifts and the whole station will be redeveloped hand in hand with state government and the local council, it is having a Labor team. Very clear when I dealt with certain people on Cumberland Council, and it has just been a dream to have the Labor people back there to make our jobs workable. So if you can do nothing else, if you can convince people, if you want those hospitals, if you want those roads fixed, if you want that infrastructure in, we need the Labor team re-elected. And we have a fantastic Labor team here. So thank you very much, guys, for all the hard work you have done. And I would just like to acknowledge, because I've known her for so long, Linda Downey. Helen Westwood has done so much work as well, and Linda for a long time delivering on Bankstown Council. But Linda, I think you go back to the 80s. I'm not sure. I won't talk too much. I'm pretty sure you were there when Phil Bolton was on it. The big advantage for me is now no one will confuse me and Linda. Everywhere I go, they keep asking me about local council, and I've worked out, oh, you mean Linda Downey, not Linda Volt. So it's going to be a great loss in one way, but Gemma there, I'm assuming they'll never mix us up when you get elected. So thank you, guys, and whatever you can do, every door you knock on, every letterbox you go in, to every hand you shake and give the message to, that will make the difference. If we can get 3 up here, that will absolutely deliver council for us. No one's going to work harder than Naji, but if everyone works at about 10% of what Naji does, we can absolutely deliver that result. So thank you.
How you doing, everyone? Nice to meet you all. And I must say, I'm from the Fairfield side, and coming across, did come a little bit late, so apologies, but I was just surprised and shocked to see so many people here. Like, this is awesome. This is what the Labor Party's about. This is what good government is about. So firstly, I just want to thank you all for being here, because you as the membership, you as the members of the party and the supporters of these awesome people enable the propelment of positive outcomes for our community. And when you look at Canterbury Bankstown, when particularly the Bass Hill ward, like, people are not doing it easy, yeah? And it's because of the work of these people that are doing that are making it better. They're making people's lives better. So on that, thank you very much for being here. And just in terms of the commentary surrounding the awesome team that we've got, so I'm a new member of Parliament. I'm from Fairfield, and when the redistribution happened and a bit of this area was in Fairfield, it was a little bit alien to me. But when I came here, when I came to the branches out here and seeing the people here, I made strong friendships and I felt a part of the family because everyone was so welcoming. And it's that family that really makes me proud to be here today to support these people. And so when you look at Rachelle, Chris and Ayman, so I just want to make some comments here about it. So Rachelle, for example, Rachelle is an absolute go-to person in terms of solving the problems out here. Now, Jihad, Jason, Tony, Linda spoke about the holistic problems and holistic solutions that the government have done in terms of those big projects pertaining to parks, CBD planning and the like. But in Fairfield, in my electorate office, I get around about 40 to 50 families a week come in asking for help. Predominantly in social housing, but second on that list is council services. And Rachelle really makes a difference in terms of helping me, trying to help these people with the individual matters that relate to them. Unfortunately, when I was at this meditation opening yesterday and I spoke about this need for mental health and this need for social isolation and measures there, when people come see us, they're not coming and seeing us when times are good. They're seeing us when times are bad. And that has an emotional toll on our electorate officers, on our MPs, on our councillors as well, because unfortunately, despite the very best intentions, we're not able to solve every problem. And because of that, it hurts. And so Rachelle, for example, with respect to council matters, has been there every step of the way. So I just really want to thank her for that. Thank you so much. And in terms of Chris, I've known Chris for a long, long time. I used to volunteer for Jason back in 2008, and I remember Chris back then as well. And so I'm part of the branch out here, and Chris, looking still good, champ. Chris is a beautiful person who genuinely cares. He's always enthusiastic and exciting with respect to trying to help people. Like, seriously, Chris, you're a beautiful person. Thank you so much for all your work, man. Thank you very much for all the work you do. And Ayman, all right, so I've met Ayman, I think I met Ayman last year during my campaign, and seeing you there. Guy's been everywhere for a year and a half, for my interactions with him. He's so passionate with respect to the work that he does. He's obviously worked at Cahill Wilkinson, and he's back over at Bass High School, and his work as a community engagement officer there and as a teacher as well, he's making a difference to the kids there. And I know that if he were to get into council, he'd be propelling youth outcomes for the benefit of our area, because youth unemployment, youth engagement, particularly with social media and mental health, is so important, and that's what he'd be able to add to that mix. And the final thing I want to mention in terms of the work that these people do, I know this because Fairfield Council is part of my electorate, and we've built a Fairfield Council team to try to take on the juggernaut that is the independents out there. Rachelle's helped in terms of providing mentorship to our younger people wanting to get into council, explaining what it's like, particularly for young women. But in addition to that, I always get complaints from my side saying, hey David, we need to be a bit more like Rachelle and the team out there. They're always out there handing out their flyers, they're always at mobile offices, and we're trying to sort our stuff out in Fairfield way. So it's a testament to the campaign machine that's out here. That can't be done without you. So thank you very much for supporting them. Obviously, pre-poll's coming up, and for those that haven't been to pre-poll, these are quite exciting times, so if you can support that, great. And obviously on election time too. But I look forward to, firstly, the campaign. I look forward to work with them in the future as well, because it's going to be awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, David and Linda. Thank you very much. And now I would like to invite Councillor Chris Cahill to say a few words. One of the candidates.
Well, it's good to be among friends. There's been a lot of talk today about community. In fact, the organisation that I came from before joining council had its tagline, building stronger communities. There's no doubt we have a great community in Bankstown. We reach out, help each other, we've got each other's back, and we celebrate our diversity. And that just doesn't happen by accident. That happens because of the hard work of the people who've come before us, like who are here today, like Helen Westwood, like Tony Stewart, like Linda Downey. And that work is continued by the people who are here today and spoke so nicely for us, Tony Burke, Jason, Linda, thank you all. And David, thank you guys. Your support is really humbling. Our community is a great, but we deserve better. We deserve the same infrastructure and level of community assets that other areas have got. And in the last term, Rachelle and I have been working on that. Simple things like building footpaths, and we've got some footpaths built. We've got some town centres upgraded, and we've upgraded some of our parks and sporting facilities that haven't really been touched since the 70s. We had a 10-year drought, unfortunately, of funding. That's now ended, and Linda outlined some of the things that are happening now with a good Labor state government supporting our community. There's still more work to be done, and we need a strong Labor team in council to deliver for our council. We're not going to be able to deliver anything, but we deserve the same level of infrastructure and community assets that other areas have got. So thank you very much. Thanks, Uncle John, for a wonderful welcome to country. And thank you, everybody, for coming, and thank you for your support.
Thank you very much, everyone, for showing your support, especially our MPs and our councillors that are all here today. So I was very happy to join the team with Rachelle and Chris for Bass Hill and to deliver best outcomes for our ward, in particular infrastructure. As our local government council is growing, Canterbury Bankstown is growing, and including the new hospital, we need better transport and better traffic management for our community. But we also need better community centres and libraries for our youth to get together and to support those initiatives to avoid and deter youth unemployment and also other social issues. So it has been very exciting, actually. We've started a couple of weeks ago with Rachelle out campaigning, speaking to the locals. So I'm looking forward for it and being part of the team and getting to meet you all. Thank you.
Thanks, Ayman. And Ayman's a really, really good candidate at the upcoming local government elections on my team alongside with Councillor Chris Cahill. He's a great advocate, a great community worker, and this is one of the reasons why we have selected Ayman to run as number 3 on our ticket. So thank you very much for joining our team, Ayman. So on the upcoming 14th of September, I highly encourage each and every one of you, just do not waste the conversation, to vote 1 in Group A above the line, to ensure that our roads, our footpaths, our social infrastructure like our community buildings, our sporting fields, our parks are well maintained and upgraded. Since 2021 to 24, Councillor Chris Cahill and I have invested in $27.3 million in Bass Hill Ward for the which Boston Park, down to Picnic Point, down to Lansdowne. It's really important that, our ward receives our fair share of state and federal government funding. Ratepayers do deserve, the top of the facilities for you to enjoy and families to enjoy. And I'm really excited to still be continuing to working for each and every one of you. It's like what I say to everyone is I'm technically married to the community. I'm never home, and my mum and dad because I'm always out there supporting local events, supporting the amazing community organisations, and I attend events not purely because it's my job, but because I want to be there. I want to see my friends and family. Each and every one of you that are here today are not just, thank you. Each and every one of you I consider as a family of mine, and I thank each and every one of you for the support you have given me just from the get-go in 2017. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank businesses who have given up their their lawn, their fences, to put posters for my team. I thank the residents who've given up their front lawn to put a poster of mine, and I really do appreciate that. And can I thank my family, especially my father and my mother. Thank you for your continuous support. Yeah, so every poster that you actually see outside in Bass Hill Ward, it's actually my father who has continuously been putting up posters. I think he's almost put 200 posters. So I really thank you for that. So yeah, the upcoming local government elections, please, I need, because the most important and valuable thing at the moment is your voice. That's the most valuable, your voice. Give up a bit of time at the booth, even at pre-poll or on election day. Every support is appreciated, whether it's 1 hour, whether it's 2-3 hours, or even a whole day. I do appreciate that. Do not waste the conversation. With your little WhatsApps, please share the message to support my team. It's really critical and important to support actual locals who live in Bass Hill Ward, to ensure that we are delivering critical council services to you. It's really important. I really want to see a lot of infrastructure projects everywhere in Bass Hill Ward, and that's why I'm running again. I will be your voice. I promise to you that I'll always advocate from the very get-go, and I'll always fight for each and every one of you to deliver that adequate services. So thank you each and every one of you for coming today. Thank you to the state and federal members and the mayor. Thank you for each and every one of your mentorships, especially my boss, Tony Burke. Your guidance and mentorship, that deserves a round of applause. And Jason Clare as well. Thank you so much. And Tony will actually be coming into my wards very shortly next year. So let's just get council elections out of the way, and then next is we're going to have to support, the remarkable Jason Clare and Tony Burke at the upcoming federal election. Okay, well, that's enough of me. So, yeah, everyone.